Welcome back to Whitt Acres. I'm Cody, this is Echo, and we're gardening at home. Today we will be going through all the gardens for a tour. This will be the 10th weekly garden tour of the season that we've been getting to go through. And I'm just going to show you what's blooming and what's ripening out there in the gardens. We've got vegetable gardens, food forest, and plenty of flower gardens to go through to see what's blooming this time of year. And let's just get right into it. Starting here in this little corner we made this year, got a hibiscus that is actually in between blooms at this time. The coral bells and the petunias in the bottom of this container are doing great. They've never stopped blooming. I got a dark opal basil there in the back, and this corner's been doing real well in that new pot there. We got blue fescue running up that line doing its thing. Got this calla lily. It's planted this year and it decided to bloom too. Got a fence there just to keep the dogs from peeing on it. Got a lot of gourds in here laying around drying out from last year's harvest. Got a variegated hosta there still in bloom, and a dahlia, black dahlia, that's still blooming here. I am here in zone 6A, USDA zone 6A, so this is what's blooming at this time of year. Over here we got the poppy bed back in full bloom, flushing out nicely. Got some more hostas there in the back that are blooming. And then I have a daisy down here in this toad, ceramic toad. I thought that was going to be white, but it's cool to see it's yellow. I have a Myrtle's Folly giant dahlia here, and it doesn't get enough sun. So that's why it's not blooming right now. I got some 4 o'clocks behind it. That's what's going on here. These are 4 o'clocks growing up on top of a Japanese maple back here. I got my patio bonfire peach that is still got some peaches on it. It'd be nice to try those out. Mandevilla just above it's blooming nicely in the beehive pot. I don't think I'm gonna get any blooms out of my crepe myrtle this year, but that's fine. I'll just get it planted and enjoy that next year. Got some dianthus in pots down there. The vinca and the hibiscus in this hive pot doing nicely. Beautiful pink flower there. I have a vinca up here and it's doing okay. You could probably use some sun, more sun, because it's hanging right here under this eave and I don't think it gets enough sun. There's a lemon basil in there, snapdragon, and a marigold, so it's doing its thing. I had a volunteer gourd pop up on the corner of this, actually 3 of them popped right out of the crack of the patio, and I'm letting them go. It's stretching way down each side here and it's starting to spread out. Gourds will only actually fruit on their secondaries, so you have to leave the secondaries go if you want to try and get fruit out of it. The bubblegum vinca in there is still supporting the bees. Got the marigolds here looking good. And on the left there, that blue sea iridium, oh, the pollinators love that. Like, it is covered constantly. Black flies, honeybees, little bugs I can't recognize. Bunch of bugs always on that. Zinnia's coming up next to the rain gauge beautifully. Like I said, I'm in zone 6A, so right now the annuals have really started to pick up the slack here. Calla lilies are starting to fall back, but the marigolds and the portulaca, the gazania patch in there is doing real well. Got big marigolds, that's the Cracker Jack mix. Then I have Flower Power calla lilies on their 2nd year, which they are doing amazing. They are full. Definitely had more flowers in the picture when I bought them, but I think they're doing pretty well either way. And then I have a floodlight yellow dahlia coming up there in the middle. It's getting a little bit shaded out, but hopefully it'll get enough sun to bloom here shortly. And then this end is just full of color. Got the petunias over here. Got the French dwarf marigolds coming up there. And then I got the Parks double petunias right there next to the bird bath. A little polar bear drinking out of it. The bunny tail grass in front is kind of getting a little old. I need to prune this back. You can see all that fresh flush in there coming up. I need to come in here and deadhead those. That is a grass, so it will spread out through your bank if you, or your flower bed if you let it. This gladiola is its, I believe, second or third year I've had that in there and overwintered it there, but it is doing amazing. I got 12 flower stalks coming out of that. That was just the last time I counted. You can see I got the bamboo sticks holding it up in different places. I think I have 8 of them, but you can see that's not enough. I missed one. Purple wave petunias are doing its thing, filling out the bank there. Portulaca is real bright and colorful in the front. Then I sowed some royal mix purple petunias that I saved from a flower hanging basket last year. Got the zinnias in the back that have filled out in color. Got the bees on there, looking real nice. And then in the very back you got the cosmos sticking up, the very yellow puppy back there, protecting the gardens. Then I got the hostas in full bloom right now, and the bees are all over them. Honey bees, carpenter bees. It's a real active spot right here. Next to the ramp, the crazy petunia, whatever you, bubblegum petunia, it's going crazy. It's filling out the whole bed just like I wanted it to. Got a marigold in here in the front, and I just plugged in a little baby marigold to try and fill in that little gap that's there. Snapdragons flush back beautifully. It's its second flush. Calla lilies in the back are still putting on a couple blooms. And I got more bees over here because the hostas are blooming still. Got to keep a lot of hostas around because these bees love them. The gladiolas have been blooming for a while. You can see that nice big tall pink one. But these ones are the ones that started blooming first, so they're about done. You can see all neat and deadheaded in there. The monolobota jungle queen has grabbed the trellis, and they're coming up the wall here nicely. I wanted them to be pretty sparse. I want to be able to see the leaves. I don't want it just to be a green wall this year. And I got some poppies blooming there. Add a little splash of color next to the steps. I put a little filter, a bog filter, on my dog pool. Made that custom. Try and keep the dog pool clean from getting a little green algae on it all the time. So just started trying it out. Water's clean so far, so might make a video just about the pump, or just about the pond itself. And I made another one for the patio up there, so look out for that video. Beside my greenhouse I have a kaleidoscope butterfly bush that's blooming, putting on some more buds. And then I have some portulaca and larkspur that I never actually planted out. Some echinacea in there too. Still need to plant them out. They're just an extra tray sitting there, but they're blooming. Over here under our big maple that we still have, I got the mulch ring all circled out, so it's a nice even circle, not all grassy like it was before. If you look back in the videos, you can see this area is looking a lot better. Got the daylilies in the background. They're blooming next to my yew. Lost half of my rhododendron somehow. I don't know if it was from the maple landing on it or what, but looks like half of it died. Not sure of the cause. Up. What do you think? The hollyhocks are blooming here and just keep getting taller, which is nice, giving me some color over here. This one's probably 4.5, 5 feet now. So this is my oldest batch of hollyhocks, and it's nice to see they're doing well. Got some carnations blooming here. I'm still waiting on the hibiscus here. It's got a bunch of buds on it, but it might not be getting enough sun really to bloom yet. We'll see. Got another hosta blooming in the front of the stones there, right there. That hosta bloomed a while ago and it's done. Got all these Easter lilies in here, or hellebores most people call them, and I'm gonna have to be separating out here in the fall. Back behind the stone here, the liatris is still blooming. Got some morning glories attaching to it, but the purple and the white liatris is blooming. I want to spread that out. Those white daisies back there are doing amazing. I did not know these daisies were going to do so good. They're just gorgeous. Got a ladybug on there. Hey, little ladybug. And a black fly. Sweat bee. More black fly. These gladiolas are hardy gladiolas, supposed to be able to overwinter better than the other varieties. And they got pretty tall. I got to figure out a better staking system because I can't stake them individually, and they're not very strong enough to stand on their own. The crocosmia in the front are nice and blooming now. The orange is really coming through. The red was first and now the orange. And this hibiscus, little dark leaf hibiscus, is all budded up, ready to bloom too. That overwintered right here. These red gladiolas have a little bit of white tips on them, which is a nice little accent, really draws the eye in. Got some zinnias in here for color, just because I didn't know what was going to end up blooming. Got some cleome here, spider flower, that decided to volunteer, which I'm really happy it did. I was hoping it would. Another little baby one right there coming in. Gorgeous. The lily is just about done. Has one on there, but I might actually pull this lily out. Ooh, another cleome. Nice. But looks like beside that I'm still going to be able to get some blooms out of this sedum that got crushed by the maple. It's strong. Got another Rudbeckia over here. This one's like a red, bright red. Or deep red, I mean. I don't think I'm going to keep it here, but she'll survive here for now. Back here we got some phlox that's still blooming nicely. I don't remember what kind that is. That was just a woodland phlox. And here is my other batch of hollyhocks, or my second batch of hollyhocks. You can see this is first year from seed, but they're putting on some buds. So that'll be nice to see. My other set over there did not bloom its first year. So that'd be nice to have these blooming here in a week or two. Just behind my rose of Sharon, that's blooming. It got beat up in the maple falling. If you want to watch that video, go check it out. But right behind that, you can see some Queen Anne's lace, or not Queen Anne's lace. This is just wild carrot. Looks like it. And then I have some wild butterfly bush coming in here. Another ladybug. You guys see that? Ladybug. Ladybug. So ladybugs like the carrot. But I've never actually had this wild buddleia or wild butterfly bush come up before. So I'll let it go. Ain't bothering me none. And I lost the Scotch broom. Have no idea what happened to it. This Scotch broom's a few years old, maybe 5 or 7 years old, and it just gave up. It's done. This line out here is looking even better with the hydrangeas coming into full bloom. Gorgeous. Really like this line. Can't wait to get them bigger and get these hollies blocking off the neighbor's property a little bit. Got some paradise red petunias blooming under the redbud tree. Redbud tree is doing good. This is its second year, and we're just going to let it go until we can shape it up a little bit. Black-eyed Susan got real big and is blooming beautifully. Sarah Smile Rose there in the middle is blooming, and the Blue Jean Baby hasn't stopped blooming since I put it in, the Russian Sage. I got another Black-eyed Susan over here, but it's a little bit further behind, so we'll be waiting on that one. But if you can tell, the new addition is this beautiful bird bath right here. Just put this in, picked it up this morning from Lowe's. It's got like an oak leaf design on it. Nice deep basin, so I don't have to refill it with water as often. But you know, I wanted a bird bath, something to sit here all winter too, just to anchor this space a little bit and show some structure. This beautiful hedge right here, lime green hedge you can see going across these dying arborvitaes all along the edge of the road, edge of the yard here. We got the cockcomb. You can see it producing its comb right there. That type of shape it has, like a Japanese fan almost, but beautiful color. That'll just fill in this whole hedge line. We direct sowed those in the spring and it's just looking beautiful. Got some sunflowers popping up there. Got some more popping up in there. Let's go through this path and see what's out front. Coming in here, I got another patch of hollyhocks. What are you doing over there, puppy? What are you doing? Puppy's in there hunting rabbits. Got more buds on the hollyhocks here, so hopefully it'll be blooming here shortly. Another daylily that's not quite done blooming over here, and then the Rose of Sharons. We got a lot of Rose of Sharons on the property. These ones are gonna have to get moved when we fix the fence, but they're looking beautiful. We're getting some shade from my real big Royal Empress tree. It's just beautiful. This tree's 3 years old, as I keep saying, and I planted it from seed. Look at that trunk. Just getting bigger every day. Got it planted, surrounded by some hosta ring here. They cast a decent amount of shade with the big leaves it has. Right here I also have some 4 o'clocks coming up that self-seeded from where I had them last year. Got some nasturtiums coming up over here where they're self-seeded from last year. I used to have a nasturtium row all along where I have this marigold row now. It used to be giant nasturtiums running this line. Switched it to marigolds for this year and they're coming in blooming nicely. Give a nice little addition to the orange daylilies that are blooming in groups going down the inside. But down here I have a new addition of the petunias are blooming. I've got just some random crazy colored petunias and plugged them in here in different spots. Like here's one. Just to add a little bit of eye-catching color, different spots. This is I believe that's the white pampas grass I plugged in there. I just put that in, so it's just setting root, not taking off yet. Got some more orange daylilies, and then I got the Rose of Sharons blooming down the line here as well. So we'll just take a walk and see what's going on. This is the castor bean, getting real big. I got 10-inch hands, and that's a big leaf. Hopefully it's going to get even bigger this year. Another big splash of color, petunias. Black elderberry, looks like it's setting some new growth. You can see 6 inches of new growth right there since I planted it. Nice little cove of sunflowers as well. Got a hosta here that's just spotted in there. Another petunia. And it looks like a chipmunk gave me a volunteer oak, which is nice, always appreciated. More Rose of Sharons blooming around the daylily orange. Rose of Sharons. And the end of the marigold line, right up to the mailbox where the hostas are finishing up. Clematis is way done, clematis. Then I got some elephant grass or some type of ornamental grass here I pulled out of a friend's house. And I got some squash right there. That's just extra squash, I'm not sure what it is. But I plugged it in there just to keep the plant alive. Got some moon bush coming up right there. Looks like it's gonna bloom tonight. So come back out, try and see that tonight. See the seed pods getting put on here. They'll be real prickly. This is a datura. It's a perennial style of moonflower. These are moonflower, very similar. But I had moonflower here last year and those self-seeded for this year, and I just put the datura there from this year. There, purple sprouting broccoli. Still doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. Taking up a bunch of space, but not doing anything. Got a flower right here. You know what that is? That's not broccoli. That's watermelon. Got another volunteer. And that is a volunteer watermelon from last year. Just taking over the front space here. But we'll look at that from the other side. Got another extra squash thrown in here. It's a morning glory and purple hyacinth bean vine volunteering right there. Next to my other front dynamite crepe myrtle. Gonna be a bright red tree out here. Here's another squash that got a little bit wind blown, it looks like, because it's supposed to be reaching out this direction. Gotta move that over. And then into my jungle garden where the daylilies are still blooming. I have elephant ears, canna lilies, and peppers up. You can see I got some banana peppers coming on here nicely. And these aren't even the ones I'm picking. Got another elephant grass. That one's a little bit bigger root ball. Nice big sedum there. Gorgeous. I'm not picking these peppers like I was saying. They're just out here for decoration. I have enough peppers back in the garden that I'll be picking for eating. In here I have the purple hyacinth bean vine climbing a dead lilac tree, as well as 2 gourds. And they're getting up there. That gourd's about 8 feet up. Hyacinth bean vine's at least 9 feet. And that gourd's getting up there a good 9-10 feet. So hopefully this will fill out like I'm picturing. Coming out here past the canna lilies. Got a little balloon flower that's still blooming. Nice. And then I got a full-size Russian sage that's just put in this year, so it'll get a lot bigger. I have some variegated canna lilies over here that are a little bit further behind because I planted them from bulb in the spring. Those cannas were planted as plants already potted up. And now that the rose is kind of coming back, but the gladiolas are picking up the slack of the rose right now. Some gladiolas out here blooming, reds and pinks, because the knockout rose is kind of in between flushes. Dianthus looks nice, big and healthy. Only a couple blooms on her, but if you look closely, it'll keep blooming. Got these little green balls of annual burning bush all the way around the hemlock, and I just like them. They look nice and soft and cuddly. Got a sunflower that's volunteer over here, and look at the branching structure on this sunflower. Deer came over and ate it. That doesn't always mean it's done. This one branched out and it's making a nice little canopy tree. But got some more gladiolas in there to keep blooming, making this area look nice. And if we look at the hemlocks over here, I have big red zinnias. The first one's blooming right now. That's what all 3 of them are. So should be a nice little splash of color over here. Out here, to finish off the front, that's the lilac tree growing up. And then I have some Easter peppers, ornamental peppers out here. And they are covered in peppers, if you can see past my shadow. Completely covered in peppers, which is nice. Ooh, look at this. Got a watermelon coming on, everybody. Gorgeous. Look at that watermelon. Filling up the whole thing. Driving over the edges. I'm trying to keep it trimmed to keep it out of the driveway. Ooh, wow. You didn't see this one either. Look at that. Nice big watermelon out here by the road. That's nice. Got some petunias in there, and there for color. And it's looking good. I'm gonna let that watermelon do its thing. Keep an eye on that one that's getting big. Ooh, look in there. It's cauliflower. It's too late for that one. I'm gonna leave it go. Haven't showed this pot out front in a while. It hasn't done much, but begonias are starting to open up there. The Parv Goldilocks is settling in just fine, and the Dusty Miller's popping up nicely. Didn't really do what I wanted it to. This African Daisy was supposed to be a spiller, but it doesn't want to fall over. And soil dropped so far. Look at that. Soil dropped really far, so those begonias don't even show up past the lip up. So gotta remember that fresh compost is going to settle pretty far if you're going to be putting it in containers. This container, the center of the garage doors, is doing pretty good with the lime coleus in there, 3 of them. But the autumn brilliance, or yeah, I think it's autumn brilliance fern, yep, that's it, is a little bit too small. It's supposed to get bigger. Portulaca is doing okay on the front. Beautiful splash of color. Coming over here to the front patio here, front porch. We got some pansies blooming in that pot still with a Dracaena spike. Got a beautiful success, kind of mixed sun and shade here. What do you think, pup? Beautiful success of wave petunias here. I got 3 wave petunias in here, 2 dusty millers, and a dark Dracaena spike. And I think it worked out really well. Real well. Yeah. Down here we have the little front side, which is a little blanket flower blooming nicely next to some French dwarf marigolds. And that is a gladiola coming up right there, but it doesn't have a bloom on it yet. This is some allium, purple allium blooming, and more French dwarf marigolds next to the beautiful tall torch lily. This is a red hot poker, I believe. It's a yellow, and I think the front area is looking pretty good right now with it blooming. Got a big rose of Sharon shaped up back here. Got the impatiens down along the front of the Hosta garden, which gets a lot of sun. So I got the different hostas in here, and a native deer fern in the back. Got some coleus back here that looks like it needs some water or something. Wow. Something's eating it. I think something's eating it. This hosta line next to this rhododendron might actually get moved. We have the propane tank there that we might actually plant something a little bit bigger to block that tank. And dang, these hostas are getting a lot of sun. It looks like they're bleached a little bit, but they looked really good for a while, and they're blooming. I don't know. They might get used to the spot and do pretty well. We'll see. Alright, I'm going to take you down here to the vegetable garden now and over to the food forest, and we'll see what's ripening. Some of you know this is the entrance now to the vegetable garden, where the gladiolas are blooming nicely. And I got the tiger lily in the center blooming now. Gorgeous. Nice different lily than the normal Asiatic lilies. I really like it. Got some zinnias in there for a splash of color, and some cosmos for the pollinators. And you can see the whites, pinks, yellows, and beautiful gladiolas blooming over here. Got the pink ones that are just reaching out on towards the garden here. And the butterfly bush is still blooming nicely. We got a big beautiful sunflower. If you've seen it on the last one, it's still blooming. Gorgeous. I didn't even plant that, but it picked a really nice spot. As with the one behind it, that'll be blooming here shortly, and it picked a beautiful spot too. The asparagus bed, and we don't really do much with it. It's only for asparagus, but it has another volunteer sunflower right behind it. Gorgeous. Square foot garden bed. Still has some lettuce coming up, but it's bolting again, so it's probably not tasty. Chard's still in there, and the kale's actually starting to put some leaves back on her. And you can see there's a big empty spot in the middle. That is because I harvested all the onions out of here this week, because they were kinking over, necks breaking. They were ready to go. I got some some carrots blooming here. Gorgeous. If you want to see that onion video, I'll be posting that probably before this video, so keep a lookout. Got another pickle on here that I keep forgetting to harvest. So it's a nice size pickle. I only got, whoa, oh, I guess I got two. Got two. Probably won't be jarring pickles this year. We jarred them last year, used up all our jars, and then we didn't even really eat a lot of pickles this year. So the basil's bringing in the pollinators. That's a beautiful lemon basil here, and honestly it's my favorite basil, just because I want to break it off, crush it, and smell it. It smells like a great lemon. But beside that is my squash bed, which is doing really well. Really well. I got plenty of squash out of here that we've been eating. I don't need any more. I get as much as I need. What's going on here? This one looks like it's curling up, like it has some problem going on her. This might have a problem. Might just need water. That soil looks wet. But I don't know. I have succession sown zucchini, because out here is my vegetable garden. I've been growing completely organic this year. And I'm not harvesting. Why am I not harvesting my cabbage? I've been so lazy not harvesting my cabbage. That's a big cabbage now. Jeez. It's mid-July. I should have definitely harvested my cabbage already. Got a big old marigold there blooming. Big old marigold there. Nice calendula in there. More cabbage I need to harvest. Some broccoli. I planted this broccoli in the spring. Look, I can still harvest some broccoli. Putting out tons of side shoots. Tell you that, except for this. This is my purple sprouting broccoli. It hasn't sprouted, let alone been purple. I don't know what's up with that. I have a cauliflower here that I just need to get rid of at this point. There's nothing good going on with that. Got a marigold up here that the bees really enjoying. All along my tomatoes. Plenty of these Brad's Atomic Grape tomatoes now. Don't know if I like them yet. Really haven't been harvesting the tomatoes. Been getting a couple of the early girls out of the food forest just for my mom for slicers. But I have not been out here harvesting these atomic grapes or these slicers because they're just not ripe yet. The pumpkin is dead and I didn't get my replacement pumpkin in yet, so probably won't get a big pumpkin this year. I got calendula. And I got a beautiful compost area with the Rose of Sharon's blooming. Yeah, gorgeous. I harvested probably 2 or 3 dozen peppers, bell peppers, poblanos, all kinds of peppers for the first flush to let the plants get bigger. Got marigold back here. And like I said, I think these might be ready. Still feel pretty firm. This one's yellowing. Oh yeah, that's soft. Might have went too long on this one. Let me try it. Tastes disgusting. Ew. I let that go too long. Stuck in my watermelon patch is my puppy. What are you doing? Out. Stay out of my patch, puppy. Good boy. Yeah, so the watermelon patch has been overgrown by weeds. I never did actually get out here and weed it, and now it might be just too late. I got some squash coming, fighting up through there. So it's really gonna be a nice 8-foot empress. This one is all 1 year of growth right there. 1 year of growth. But yeah, this is gonna be a big old Easter egg, squash egg hunt. Hopefully they won't be all rotten by then. Let's get in there and see if we can find one. I normally don't come in here until the fall when everything's dying back, because I don't want to accidentally step on anything and break a root. But you can see there's some gourds, some pumpkins, some more gourds, some more pumpkins. So things are definitely growing in here. I don't know if they'll last, but look at this. Look at this sea of squash. It's a 100-foot mound, and I am right in the middle of it. But yeah, I put the fence in too early, I guess, because they are just pushing and climbing up the fence, climbing under the fence, pushing through the fence. So hopefully I'll get a good harvest, because looks like we got some pretty big plants in here. Oh, what is that? That's a pumpkin starting there. But I'm just gonna look in here, zoom in, because I can't walk in. But you see that pumpkin? She's green. She's getting big. All pumpkins are girls, if you're wondering. But yeah, got some pumpkins in here too. Hopefully the slugs don't get them, and I can get a decent harvest. This is some gourds. You can see the white flowers. Those are all gourds, climbing gourds. I don't know what's on there yet. And then I had some backup pumpkins die on the end here. But look at this. It's still trying. It's still trying to grow. And I got a sunflower. Little sunflower there. All the way down, I got sunflowers popped up. So that'll be nice here in a couple weeks when those start blooming as well. As I've said before, I want to get a pond out here in all this open green area. So I've been mowing different areas, or mowing different shapes here in this area to try and get an idea of how big and what we want to do with the pond. So that'll be coming in shortly, hopefully sometime soon, maybe. But before we dig a real big pond out in the field, I want to figure out how we're going to actually take care of it and what we really need to have a nice pond. So that's why I put the bog filter on my dog pool to see if that'll start keeping it clean. And I also made a little patio pond. Been really getting into this pond water and making things flow and waterfalls and everything, but yeah, so I might make a pond video. Out here on the island peninsula, we have a big blue sea iridium still putting on, I don't even know what you call it, blooms maybe, little spike balls, but the bugs love it. The hosta always bringing in the bees. Hostas along here with the iris spikes, and then the gladiolas are coming up in the back real nice and tall. One red crocosmia here with some zinnias are finally popping up some color. That's nice. I had to tie up those gladiolas because we got some windy storm in here. A red petunia, red wave is doing amazing. And even that, wow, even that scarlet runner bean's still blooming mid-July. It's trying. Hosta looks great right there, red and purple. Got all these extra flag irises that I need to separate all these. Had a volunteer sunflower pop up right next to this tree. Gorgeous. I threw in some seashells for color around the bird bath. And the pathway out here is looking real nice. If you can notice, the new addition is that bench back in there. We got these stepping pads all leveled out with pea gravel. And I got this new bench. Little fleur-de-lis on top and on the legs. Just give a nice new spot to sit. New spot, new angle. Sit and enjoy the garden. Still puppy needs to play. Another volunteer we had this year was this wave petunia at the bottom of my shepherd's hook, as well as the sunflower climbing up and weaving through the shepherd's hook all the way to the top. It'll be blooming here shortly, but that's a volunteer. An amazing location. And I put some lemon petunia hanging basket here to accent it. The ash tree put on a ton of growth this year. It's hard to tell from the camera, but it put on good 4 or 5 feet of growth. We got the line over here. All the orange daylilies are done, but we still have some purple and pinks from the petunias and the hostas, so it's keeping it alive out here. Here's the weedy mess of my brand new poplar bed garden. The daisies are still blooming up through the weeds, and you can see the orange impatiens in there, but I really need to get in there and do some maintenance and mulch, as well as some maintenance out here on my tomato row, because my tomato row is falling over. Got some ripe tomatoes off of it already. Been getting blueberries. Everything's coming in pretty strong right now, but it's also getting heavy. And you can see I need more posts out here because the string's really sagging down and everything's falling off. See if any of these blueberries are ready. I don't know. It's not falling off. Got the blue borage here. Oh, that's one. That one looks ready. Yeah, that one's ready. Got blueberries, tomato here. These have been my favorites so far. Yeah, still my favorite. Doesn't taste much like a tomato at all, which is what I'm going for. Got a lot of aromas on here. That's why it's so heavy, falling over. It is caked, laden with tomatoes. All the basil's all flowering and the bees are all over it. Working beautifully. Some ripe aromas in there. Some bees all over the basil. Some more ripe tomatoes in there. More bees. More basil. The Rutgers tomatoes are getting pretty heavy as well. They are all on the ground, as you can see, all laid over. None of them are ripe yet, but I got tons of tomatoes on them. And I got some more basil and some tomatillos. Tomatillos aren't quite ripe yet either, but they're getting bigger. Getting bigger. Now, this is my valerian. This seems to be growing, but it's probably in a little bit too much shade, as with this whole row of onions, brassicas, and artichoke. It's not getting enough sun from this maple tree. I planted it too much into the shade, as with my 2 strawberry beds. That was just my fault. Not getting nearly enough sun. I'm still getting some ripe strawberries out of this bed, ever-bearing red strawberries, but probably not nearly as much as I should be because I planted this way too much into the shade. But still getting some off of it. I have a Malabar spinach planted here coming up. It's taking its sweet time. All the potatoes, you can see more flowers on the potatoes here. They're flowering. A lot of them already flowered and they're done. So now I'm kind of waiting for them to die back, I think. And that'll tell me that they're ready to go. Got some leaves dying back. Some dying back. Might be able to reach in there and get some baby potatoes. Might try that later. In here, the ground cherries are doing great. I actually have so many ground cherries down in my vegetable garden down there that I don't even pick these ones out here. And then the sweet potato bed, real big failure. I messed up on the sweet potatoes. I started them way too early, and I got 1, 2, 3, I got like 4 or 5 growing up in here, so we'll see what happens. But I got them in late and they're small, so they might not produce. The okra, on the other hand, is about to produce though. First time I'm seeing some okra pods forming up on here, so that's nice. Never had okra before, but I am willing to try every vegetable to see what I like. Goji berry, what is happening to you? It was all healthy last year, put on plenty of berries, and no problems. This year, it's dying off as it's putting on the berries. I am not sure what happened to the goji, but I know the gooseberry died. Gooseberry got some type of red spot. I don't know, but it does not look healthy and it lost all its leaves. I got some hot peppers down here forming on, some jalapenos, some some cayenne fire pepper, I don't know. But these are my 3 hot peppers, just for salsa. Pomegranate needs a little bit of water, I think. The bell peppers have produced pretty well. I've already gotten some off of there. Blueberries done producing. There's actually a couple on there. Spoke too soon. I got a lot of small blueberries, kind of like wild blueberries off of this thing. Look how small. See? Pretty small blueberries, but they still taste good, sour. Another volunteer sunflower. And my herb garden. This herb garden was a comparison to the herb garden I have down in the vegetable garden. Everything's identical. Soil medium, container size, plantings, types. And I never watered them once. But it's still doing just fine. As is the other one that has the straw core in it. So, I don't know. Not a big change. Down here, as I was telling you, I've been getting some ripe tomatoes. I got 2 early girl tomatoes right here. Real nice size, perfect for eating, and ready to go. The bamboo marigold, as I call it, or tree marigold, or Mexican sunflower, starting to open up its blooms. It got perfect height. As you can see, it's just taller than that dwarf Arborvitae spruce, so we'll be able to see it from the patio. Gorgeous. Over at the pergola, we got some gladiolas blooming. A little grouping here that I kind of all tied into a knot because I only had a couple bamboo sticks to use. But the gladiolas aren't the big show. We got some dahlias coming in. So hopefully these dahlias will start blooming. Look at that one. Way in there. But they're starting to bloom. There's a hydrangea in there behind it. And I got this Crespo squash that I got off of Baker Creek Seeds. You can see it's starting to struggle. I don't know. Might need fed, honestly. It has some pretty decent soil over here, but I didn't really do anything for it. Just put her in the ground. So I might have to fertilize her. Give her a little help. She's reaching all the way over here. The jelly melon is taking a dive. I don't know what's going on. I never did get a melon off of this, so it's unfortunate, but I'd like to. This one still looks healthy, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe it doesn't like being trained up the trellis, not sure, but that's unfortunate. Oh, potato cucumber, let's check on that. Potato cucumber. Yeah, we got a little baby one right there. Baby one above it. A couple babies in there, but nothing growing yet. Go ahead and feed this back through. I try and be gentle with it. Not sure what the problem is. The red trumpet vine is blooming beautifully. Not a bunch, but it's blooming. Got another little one right there. Got the echinacea blooming right there, sporting that bee, as well as the blue passion flower's been blooming pretty much all day, every day. Gorgeous flower, so intricate. As well as another volunteer sunflower. This one's on the inside of the pergola, and this pergola is 8 feet high, so that sunflower is reaching all the way to the top. And it's gonna bloom right there. It's gorgeous. Got blueberries, tomato here, filling in some space. Growing about 5 feet tall. As you can see, my gourds have reached the top. So they're all spreading out now. And I have to do a little bit of training so I can get them evenly all the way across there. But you can see they're fanning out pretty nicely. And I'm already getting some gourds dangling. Some gourd right there, some gourd there. This is going to turn out really nice. I don't know if you saw, I think I put up a picture in one of my videos of what this looked like before, or what it looked like last year full. It looks really nice. The, what's that? Honeysuckle. It's still blooming and real full. I got the dynamite crepe myrtle, not dynamite, that's a grape Bellini. Something like that. Bellini grape, shrub crepe myrtle there. And the silver lace vine is going up and around the trellis. You see that? It's blooming there at the top of the trellis as well. Gorgeous. Going through the trellis, we have a giant Maxima echinacea, I believe. But we got a big one right there. I think I put a tag in it. No tag. And behind that is the pumpkin on a stick I'm growing for decoration. They should grow up. They should put on like pretty much a little tomato on the end of the stick, and then when you dry them they turn orange like a pumpkin on a stick. So got another volunteer sunflower, perfectly placed. I couldn't have placed that better if I wanted to. Calendula is bringing in the pollinators. See the little bees on there. And That big mess right there is Mexican sour gherkin, but I didn't get any off of that yet. I've been getting them out of the garden, but not up here. In here somewhere might be a this is eggplant, so I'm just trying to, yep, an eggplant starting. It's starting to reach out of its shell there. Gorgeous. Never grew eggplant before, so that's new and different. I like it. And the gourds on the wall back here, filling it out kinda. Yeah, they're growing. Got another squash down here. I don't remember what it is. I think it might be a blue Hubbard, but I'm not entirely sure. But this is working out pretty well over here. Come out through the trellis. Alright, that's going to be all for this week's garden tour. This is our 10th week, like I've said. And it looks good out here. We've had a lot of nice blooms going on during this last couple weeks. And a lot of stuff starting to ripen up. Puppy had a run, but if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe down below. You can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.